Code Red at Soldier Field. Did you know our pass rush is only generating pressure on 30% of plays? Just 3 pressures against Baltimore. With Shamar Turner out for the season ACL and Dominique Robinson also down, Ryan Poles signs a couple of X-backers who were 7th-round picks. While the secondary is bleeding out, Jalen Johnson, Kyler Gordon, and Tyreek Stevenson are all out. And the rookies? Luther Burden's in concussion protocol, Loveland has 0 touchdowns, and Trapelo's riding the bench. The trade deadline is in 7 days and Poles is ignoring available corners like Alontae Taylor. If they don't act now, Mahomes and Jefferson are gonna tear us apart. I don't know if y'all watched that game against Baltimore, but let me tell you something that's got me heated. The Bears' defensive line managed just 3 pressures the entire game. 3. In 60 damn minutes of football. I mean, how is it even possible that a franchise with Chicago's defensive legacy monsters of the Midway and all can only get 3 pressures in a full game? Nate Tice from Yahoo Sports broke it down, and it's brutal for what Ben Johnson's trying to build. 3 pressure dropbacks. Montez Sweat had to. Gervin Dexter had to. Grady Jarrett and Noah Sewell chipped in with 1 each. That's it. That's the whole list. That's all we could muster against Baltimore's O-line, and here's what really grinds my gears. Sweat and Dexter each got a sack, sure, but where's the rest of the D-line? Because I'm telling you right now, when only 4 guys register pressure in an entire game. You don't have a defensive line, you've got 2 dudes trying to do the job of 7. You know what the worst part is? The Bears have the 3rd worst pass rush win rate in the entire NFL at just 30%. That means 7 out of 10 times, our edge rushers are losing their one-on-one matchups. That's just not acceptable for a team that's supposed to be in the playoff hunt. Let me put it in perspective. The Bears have only 14 sacks all season, that's bottom 8 in the league. Meanwhile, the Lions are dominating with their pass rush. The Vikings are bringing heat every down. And we're over here praying someone gets to the quarterback. And here's what's got me seriously worried. In that Baltimore game, we lost Shamar Turner for the season with a torn ACL. A 2nd-round rookie who was finally finding his groove at defensive end done. And Dominique Robinson, ankle injury. Out for weeks. So I gotta ask, what's Ryan Poles gonna do about it? The trade deadline is in a week. We need help now, not in next year's draft. Not in 2026 free agency. Right, now there are names out there. Jalen Phillips from the Dolphins could be a 1-year rental that gives us the jolt we need. Bradley Chubb's another option. Either one would be a clear upgrade over what we've got. But you know what's the most frustrating part? We're 4-3, still in the playoff mix. Caleb Williams is developing nicely, and our D-line can't generate pressure. I'm telling you, it doesn't matter how well Caleb plays or how many touchdowns DJ Moore scores if we can't throw off the opposing quarterback's rhythm. We're going nowhere, and here's the cold, hard truth. When you've got Patrick Mahomes coming up into weeks, when you've got to face Justin Jefferson and the Vikings twice, when you've got Aaron Rodgers on the schedule, you need a pass rush. It's not optional. It's essential. The Bears have a window right now with Caleb on his rookie deal. But that window closes fast if we don't make the right moves. Poles should be working the phones nonstop until next Tuesday, trying to land any edge rusher who can help. Because let me tell you something about this league in today's NFL. If you can't generate pressure with 4, you're toast. You have to blitz more, which leaves your secondary exposed. And with all the injuries we've got back there, do we really want to be sending 5 or 6 guys every down? The answer is no. We need guys who can win one-on-one. We need an edge rusher who gives offensive tackles nightmares. And I ask you, where is that guy on our current roster? And if you thought the pass rush situation was bad, wait till you hear about our 2025 rookie class. Because I'm telling you, there was so much hope for these guys. 4 picks in the first 2 rounds. Colston Loveland in the first. Luther Burden in the second. Ozzie Trapilo and Shamar Turner rounding out the group. And every single one of them was supposed to contribute right away. But guess what? Not a single one of those 4 has made a real impact. And 2 of them, Burden and Turner, are dealing with injuries that have them sidelined or limited. Let's start with the biggest blow. Shamar Turner, the 2nd-round defensive end one mentioned earlier, tore his ACL against Baltimore and is out for the year. Ben Johnson said on Monday that moving Turner to defensive end had coincided with the defense improving against the run. They thought he was part of the solution. Johnson said Turner looked natural at the position, even though he hadn't played there much before. They were excited to see how he'd develop in the second half of the season, but now, Done. A physical presence and a mindset they valued gone for the year. I think this is a massive setback, not just for this season, but for the development of a player who was clearly trending up. And the worst part? Just as he was finding his role, just as he was starting to get the system boom, ACL tier. But it doesn't stop there. Luther Burden, our second-round wide receiver, is in concussion protocol. He's got just 13 catches for 171 yards and 1 touchdown all season. And here's the stat that worries me: only 2 catches in the last 8 quarters of football. I gotta ask, what's going on with Burden? When we drafted him, we thought we were getting a dynamic slot receiver to complement DJ Moore and Keenan Allen. But 2 catches into games, that's unacceptable for a second-round pick, and now he's likely out for the Cincinnati game. So we're talking about potentially 3 straight games with no production from a guy who was supposed to be a key piece of our offense. But wait, because even the healthy rookies aren't doing much. Colston Loveland, our first-round tight end, has just 11 catches for 116 yards. 0 touchdowns. Not 1 dot, and here's what really ticks me off. Against Baltimore, with Cole Kmet out, Loveland had the perfect chance to show why he was a first-rounder. You know what he did? 3 catches for 38 yards. That's it, for a first-round tight end, in a game where you're the clear starter. 3 for 38 is just plain mediocre. Where are the mismatches against linebackers? Where's the red zone presence? Because I'm telling you, the great tight ends shine when they get the opportunity, and Loveland's not doing that. Then there's Ozzie Trapilo, who's been demoted to swing tackle. A guy we drafted thinking he could compete for a starting job is now the 6th or 7th lineman on the depth chart. So I gotta ask, what's going on with Ryan Poles' scouting? 4 picks in the first 2 rounds, and not one of them is living up to expectations. One's out for the year, one's in concussion protocol, and the other 2 are rotational guys at best. And here's what really worries me about the future. If this rookie class doesn't produce, if these 4 guys, who were supposed to be the foundation of the future, can't contribute, what does that say about our ability to evaluate talent? Because let me remind you, last year we drafted Caleb Williams, Romo Duns, and Kieran Amagaji in the first round. That class is working. Caleb's developing, Rome's making plays, Kieran's competing. But this 2025 class, so far, it's been a disaster. Part of it is injuries. Sure, you can't control a torn ACL or a concussion, but the lack of production from Loveland and the fact that Trapilo can't even win a starting job, that's a problem. And here's the million-dollar question. Is Poles gonna use this situation as an excuse not to make moves at the trade deadline? Is he gonna say he needs to see what these rookies can do when they're healthy? Because I'm telling you, if that's the mindset, we're in trouble. Now here's where things get really wild. While the D-line is bleeding, the rookies are in the trainer's room, and the pass rush is one of the worst in the league. Guess what Ryan Poles is doing? Signing another ex-backer for the defensive line, and completely ignoring the most obvious need on the roster. The Bears just signed Jonathan Garvin to the practice squad, another defensive end from Green Bay. And look, I get it, we need bodies after the injuries to Robinson and Turner. But here's the issue: we're adding to the D-line while totally ignoring the secondary. Garvin was with the Packers from 2020 to 2023, played 38 games, mostly on special teams with just 1 start. Then he was on the 49ers practice squad in 2024. He's 6'4", 257 pounds. A 7th-round pick from Green Bay. And we already had Jonathan Ford, another ex-backer, another 7th-rounder on the practice squad since Week 15 last season. We just bumped him up to the 53-man roster after Turner's injury. So now we've got 2 ex-backers trying to patch up our D-line. But here's what's got me absolutely furious. While we're signing defensive ends, our secondary is in shambles, and Poles is doing nothing about it. Jalen Johnson might not be back until December, if he comes back at all. Kyler Gordon's out until mid-November with a groin injury. Tyreek Stevenson is week to week with a shoulder. So I ask you, who's playing cornerback for us right now? We've got Dallas Flowers and Dante Manning on the practice squad. Flowers got into the Dallas game for 8 special team snaps. That's it. So we're 1 injury away from playing guys with 0 meaningful NFL experience. And here's what really burns me. Roger McCreary just got traded from the Titans to the Rams for a conditional 6th-round pick. A 6th-rounder. I'm telling you, the Bears could have easily matched that and gotten a proven corner with real experience. But they didn't, and I gotta ask, why not? Because this situation is screaming for a move. We need someone with legit NFL reps at cornerback. Someone who knows Dennis Allen's scheme would be ideal. The Saints might be willing to move Alontae Taylor. His contract's up after this season. They've got depth at corner, and they're near the bottom of the standings. It makes sense for them to get draft capital, and I think he'd be a perfect fit for us. But here's the problem. Other teams need corners too. Detroit's desperate. The Bills need help. The Eagles too. And obviously, teams with higher draft picks are more attractive to sellers. The Bears might have an edge over those contenders, but there are two big questions. One, would Poles be willing to give up a pick? And two, does he even think he needs to? Because the Bears keep insisting all three corners will be back. But I'm telling you, what if they're not? What if there's another injury? Are we really gonna roll out practice squad guys against Patrick Mahomes and Justin Jefferson? And here's the stat that really gets me. The Bears apparently wasted to draft picks this year in rounds 4 and 5 because neither cornerback Zaw Taylor nor linebacker Ruben Hippolyte is playing. So I ask, why not spend a similar pick on someone who can help? The fact that those guys aren't available right now is the real issue. And even if we traded for Taylor tomorrow, it's possible he wouldn't make an impact until Stevenson returns anyway. But at this point, we just need bodies. I think there's a disconnect between what Poles sees as needs and what's actually happening on the field. Because when your secondary is so banged up that you're one injury away from total collapse, and you're signing X-backers instead of proven corners, something's wrong with the priorities. And let me be clear, I'm not saying Garvin and Ford can't help. Maybe they can. But when you've got limited resources and you have to choose where to invest, I'm telling you the secondary should be priority number one, because here's the reality. You can survive with a mediocre pass rush if your secondary can cover, but you can't survive with a banged-up secondary, no matter how good your pass rush is. And right now, we've got neither. The Bears are 4-3, still in the hunt. But every week that goes by without a move to fix the secondary is a wasted opportunity. And if we miss the playoffs by a game or two, we're gonna look back at this trade deadline and wonder why we didn't do more. So there you have it, the full Bears situation heading into the trade deadline. 3 pressures against Baltimore, a rookie class wrecked by injuries, and a secondary begging for help while we sign X-backers to the D-line. I'm asking you, do you think Ryan Poles is gonna make the right moves before Tuesday's deadline? Should we go after an edge rusher like Jalen Phillips or Bradley Chubb? Or is the secondary the top priority and we should be chasing Alontae Taylor? And here's the biggest question with everything going on, the injuries. The lack of rookie production. The pass rush ranked 3rd worst in the league. Do you still believe this team can make the playoffs? Because I'm telling you, we've got the talent. Caleb Williams is getting better every week. DJ Moore is one of the best receivers in the league. The defense, when healthy, can hang with anyone. But if Poles doesn't make moves now, if he lets this chance to strengthen the roster slip away, we might be staring down another almost season. Let me know in the comments what move you want to see before the deadline. Edge rusher, cornerback, both. And if you could make one trade, what would it be? If you agree the secondary is priority number 1, hit like on this video. If you think we need an edge rusher more than anything, subscribe to the channel. And if you think Poles is gonna sit on his hands and do nothing, comment nitrogen monoxide trade below. Because this is our community. This is the Bears family. And together, we're gonna follow every move, every decision, every snap until this team finally takes us back where we belong, back to the playoffs and beyond. This is Navy and Orange, baby. This is DA Bears, and no matter what happens, we're gonna be right here backing our team, demanding greatness, and keeping the monsters of the Midway legacy alive. See you in the next video with more exclusive Bears updates. Bear down, Chicago. Bear down.